And if I had to be another person to stand up, if I think after really going through this, and looking at the files and looking at the case, if I really feel that Karen Reed didn't do this and I have to be a voice that stands up and helps, I will.
We are expecting to learn more about the allegations against the girlfriend of a Boston police officer who was found unresponsive in the snow Saturday morning. I-Team sources say Karen Reed was in a relationship with John O'Keefe. She's facing charges including motor vehicle homicide and manslaughter.
We're the only ones fighting for the truth of what happened to John O'Keefe. And me and my family and my attorneys and my team have marshaled every resource to get to the truth. It just feels like no one else wants it.
Now, just be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
And no, she didn't do it. No, she didn't do it. This is an innocent woman. She didn't do it.
I tried to save his life.
Yeah.
I tried to save his life at 6 in the morning. I was covered in his blood. I was the only one trying to save his life.
Why'd you admit to it?
She didn't admit to it. She didn't admit to anything close to that. Nothing close to that. And you should know that.
That was like 3 or 4 times she admitted to it.
No, she didn't.
That's not true.
She asked a question. She asked a question, which is very different. She didn't admit to anything.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Karen Reed's not going to fold. Karen Reed's not going to give up. Defense team's not going to quit. The Free Karen Reed movement is going to continue. We will continue to raise funds for her. We will continue to do standouts across Massachusetts, across the nation, across the world to let everybody know what's going on here in the state of Massachusetts, the corruption. And we will continue to get the word out there. Believe me. Believe me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can everybody
Hopefully
hear
it's
us?
working this time.
Can everybody hear us? Just let us know, and then we'll continue with the show. We will continue with the show. Let's see. Let's wait.
Oh, I still see
Everybody's seeing muted, but I know that we have sound now. It's take 2. Okay, everybody can hear us. Well, good Sunday morning.
Good morning. I love Sunday mornings.
We are here, and it has been a very interesting week. We got Lauren DC back in studio hanging out today on Let's Talk Live. Welcome in, everybody. And this is the Sunday Super Show.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday Super Show. And we've had a very interesting week.
Yeah.
A very interesting week.
Proctor got fired. That was the highlight.
Proctor got fired, and that definitely is the highlight. And there's just motions like it's so much that I can't keep track of it.
I know.
Like my X feed is it's insane.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
There's so much to keep track of. And of course, that moment where Karen's team walked into the courtroom for oh god, I think it was Joe Flipperhead who did the edit, and that was just so badass.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, Flipperhead's been killing it, and I love all his like little videos. The only thing I tell him don't put the copyright music in because I want to play some of this stuff, but that's what makes it like awesome is that because he just lines up the music with the video. It's such a boss move. Like it's like, fuck you, Brennan. Like we're just gonna walk in. It reminded me, I don't know if anybody saw the movie Reservoir Dogs. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I haven't.
It's a Quentin Tarantino movie, and in the beginning of the movie, it's about these these guys that go heist the jewelry stores, like 8 or 10 of them, if I can remember. And in the beginning of the open scene, they show them all walking down the street, kind of side by side together, and they all have their suits on and sunglasses. And I'm like, Reservoir Dogs.
It's
and that's
a
totally
badass
what it reminded
moment.
me of.
Yeah.
It totally reminded me of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get so what I want to do today is we're obviously going to talk about former disgraced, now fired Michael Proctor. I didn't want to say trooper anymore. He's not a trooper.
No.
I want to talk about that. Microdots dropped a new video.
Yep.
I haven't seen it, but you have.
Yeah, I watched it yesterday.
And we'll react to that. And then at the back end of the show, we'll do live calls and we'll take some calls today.
Yeah.
Sound good?
That sounds good. And that'll be fun, I think.
Okay. So let's go back to the trial 1.0. Okay. We're now almost we're close to a week away from 2.0. It's crazy. And I want to talk about when Proctor was on the stand and when you sat and listened to that testimony, because we had no idea what was going to, we had no idea. It was a mouth-dropping moment. And when you're sitting there listening and David Yannetti pulls the text message up and starts talking about it, and it was Yannetti that crossed. No, was it Jackson? It was Jackson that crossed him. Am I wrong? Am I right?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
These little details just kind of are hard to keep track of sometimes.
When he's on cross and they pull the text messages up and you start hearing this for the first time from a woman's perspective, what are you thinking?
I mean, my first reaction was I was appalled. I mean, because, police officers are held to a higher standard of conduct. You're supposed to have a higher level of integrity than the average citizen because you have a lot of power in your hands. And with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And, his wife's defense of he was stressed out, he was upset because a fellow officer was just killed. It's not an excuse because people who say that in moments of being stressed out, it's under the surface. They might the moments where they don't have as much of a filter, that's when you start to see people's true colors. Those are things that he's thinking in your head, like in his head. It reminds me of people who've seen lots of stories in the news of this happening where they're like a public figure or celebrity has a heated argument with somebody or they're, inebriated and then they start throwing out slurs and saying awful things. But it's like, you're just in a moment where you're lacking a filter. And now these are things that you're thinking in your head off the clock. When you're not, even if you're not speaking it out loud, you're still having those thoughts and it still speaks to your character. So to me, if somebody that I was close to started talking like that when they were stressed out, that would make me question their inner character.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't matter why he said it. It doesn't matter if it's not something he said on a daily basis. It's showing who he really is and what he really thinks.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is that he is trained to handle situations like this, to handle that mental stress. That's why you go through the academy, you go through the psychological training, you go through the all of those classes to put yourself in position for this type of work. I mean, let's be honest here. Police officers see awful shit all day long. I mean, I couldn't imagine with the domestics that they see, the murders that they see, children being neglected. I mean, it's a tough job.
Yeah.
But you don't take that to text messages with your superiors and talk about a potential witness, a suspect, whoever it may be, someone in contact. And I kind of laugh about, well, he was under stress. But let's go back and think, what was one of the first things that came up when we heard during that testimony? What was he looking for?
Nudes.
Right. Nudes.
That was the first joke that he made. That was the first thing that came to his mind.
Yep. No nudes yet. So that tells me when these motherfuckers confiscate people's phones, what's the first thing that they're going to be looking at? What are they looking for?
Yep.
It's pretty disgusting behavior. I mean, it's beyond reprehensible. I mean, it's disgusting.
It's a violation of somebody's privacy and consent as well, especially if it's an intimate photo. Now you've crossed into, people need to give you consent for that type of stuff. So it's all around unacceptable, especially for somebody in power. It's just unacceptable to me.
And it's funny because Karen, in a lot of the most recent interviews, what did she say? This is about power.
Yep.
It's about power.
Yep.
It's not, it's not about money or greed or anything. It's about enforcing power and pushing
Correct.
power on top of people. And this is why I always continue to say this as well. And we've talked many times about this, is that, they need Karen Reed to go down for this because of all the nefarious shit that, one, all the McAlberts are all involved with, but all of those police departments that are connected. And it starts with the Canton Police Department.
Yeah.
And they're all interconnected. Sandra Birchmore, John O'Keefe, Karen Reed, and the list just goes on and on. Now it might be Brian Walsh. I mean, that fucking guy, I mean, I don't know. I think he fucking killed her. I think he killed her.
I do
and
too.
now you have someone that's very problematic. That was the lead investigator, Mass State Police lead investigator, Michael Proctor, is on Brian Walsh's case. Now what's that going to cause in his case? I mean, is the defense now going to use this? Probably. Yeah. And we heard that in one of the last hearings a couple weeks ago. They talked about the Reed case, and they want to get the files from the Reed case.
Yep.
The guy might walk.
It's the whole thing is awful and messy. And, Proctor brought it on himself. He didn't live up to the standards of a police officer. And this is the result, And I think it's a little embarrassing for anybody, especially a woman, to defend such disgusting behavior towards a woman, because like I said, that is who he is under the surface.
Yeah.
And I have a job that is very stressful sometimes, but even on my worst days, you will not find me talking about the people I support in a derogatory manner, because that's not who I am as a person. And that's not the things that I say when I'm stressed out. I know how to healthily express my frustrations and my emotions, that's called emotional intelligence. And being a regulated person. And if you're not somebody who can regulate yourself and your reactions, you should not be in a power position.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary. He's got a badge and a gun. I mean, that's super scary.
Yep.
And I watch a channel that I love lately, and I've been just siphoning his content. Is I watch Long Island Auditor. His name is Sean, not that Sean, but a different Sean.
Yep.
And he goes and does First Amendment audits at town halls and police stations. And when these security guards or, maybe a police officer approach him and he's like, look, I'm just expressing my First Amendment right. I can be in this publicly accessible place. And he goes, the only difference that puts you in power right now, yes, I have a camera, but the thing that scares me is that you have a badge and a gun.
Yeah.
And it's power, and it's very, very corrupt. But let me just take the super chat really quick. And then I want to talk about, how were you feeling when you heard, were you like in a mouth drop moment or what?
Yeah.
Let me get this here. Mama J's, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And again, if you want your question or answer or anything that you want to say in the chat today, to get it up to the top of the line, super chat us. We'll pull it up really quick and we'll go through this. So she says, fee Karen Reed. It's probably free Karen Reed. And it says the truth will prevail. The dominoes are starting to fall. And I completely agree.
Yep.
Let's go back to Proctor. So here you are, you're listening to the testimony, and now all these disgusting text messages come out about Karen, and you're sitting there as, a woman in this. And I know Karen has said, it just doesn't, it never really bothered me. It doesn't bother me. Did it bother you?
It bothered me. I would not feel good if somebody said those things about me and made fun of my medical problems. I'm glad that Karen has a thicker skin than that, I guess, because I would be appalled having text messages about me read out loud publicly like that. And, as a woman, I was angry. I was angry for her and I was disgusted, and there's just no excuse for that behavior. And if it was somebody that was close to me, I would not defend it. I would hold them accountable for that.
I think the good thing about all of this now, which is a positive in Karen's, I'm probably going to see a civil lawsuit here pretty soon because he doesn't have qualified immunity anymore. He's no longer a trooper. And I'm sure that her civil attorneys, whoever picks this up, can say, let's start the lawsuit now, put something out there on the record, and now we can go after for slander, liabus. I mean, you've put out medical information out there, and we know that Massachusetts is very protective of HIPAA information. So why not? Let's see a lawsuit. And I'm sure it's probably getting fashioned. I would believe so.
I bet it is. I mean, Karen's already having people come at her with civil lawsuits. So
you got the Nick Alberts.
She just doesn't have the time to focus on a different lawsuit right now. So
and that's all done by design. I mean, it's all done by design in all of this, you know, to throw monkey wrenches as much as we can into the works. And that's why I see with all these motions that Brennan's filing, you know, oh, let's get you know, now what they're going to give access to Aiden's phone so they can see if Karen and him were talking back and forth about witness intimidation, which is completely ridiculous because they weren't. I mean, he has the right as a journalist, and Karen has the right as someone who is a subject of a story to release information and opine on stuff that is already out there and give that opinion. You have that a right to do that. So now what you're doing is you're stepping in to someone that is covering a story, an independent journalist that has every right to do what they want to do. And you're now an invasion of his privacy. On his privacy of this. You've now what are they going to do? Are they going to go through his phone and look for, you know, maybe private, intimate things that he's sent to family or girl, you know, his girlfriend or what? Like, man, I don't want to know about that stuff. That's not my business. I don't care what Aiden does in his personal life, but I guarantee that this stuff is going to be used and weaponized against him. And I felt that over these last couple of hearings, when we started hearing Hank Brennan talk more about Aiden Carney, talk more about Turtle Boy. And I said, they're going to fucking weaponize him. And they're going to try to use him against Karen in this.
They're going to try to ruin her credibility because they're going to try to say, like, what was it? Consciousness of guilt, trying to conspire with him for witness intimidation. They're trying to give an unfavorable view that the jury will have of her. That's what they're trying to create. And it's just unfortunate. Like you said, I don't care what people do in their personal lives. Like, especially if I can find something in common with somebody, a common goal, I can work with anybody. You know, I can unify with anybody. And that's all I care about is what people are fighting for. And I don't think it's right for the government to be able to come in and just seize your personal messages for any reason, really. Like there needs to be very strict circumstances where that's acceptable, you know, like a murder,
of course,
like an actual murder. And it's just, people don't deserve that level of violation. Not so willy-nilly. I
mean, listen, like, I know you, I trust you, but you don't need to be looking what's on my phone, and I don't want to see what's on your phone. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, it doesn't matter. Even your friends, like people's phone are their most personal thing, and it doesn't that
we all have very private things on our phone, and that's what they know in all of this. That's why they're doing it. It's just to dig a little bit deeper. It's just to use and weaponize things, and believe me, they're gonna pull this data and try to twist it and turn it and go, look, oh, there it is. That's the moment that she said to go after the McAlberts. And we all know it's bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. Want to take up some chats? We'll take up these chats. All right. Clara L. Ford, thank you so much for the 10. She said, happy Sunday. I love this duo. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. We look forward to doing more of these shows. And we've been planning some other things as well, too. I'm not going to give away the secrets, but we're going to try to get this one going here. Let's see. Tough Tiff, $5 says, it's why I love the show and what you do. How do people act when no one is watching?
Integrity. That's literally definition of integrity.
That's definitely integrity.
I teach integrity to elementary schoolers, just saying. So it's unacceptable for a police officer to not have it. Right.
I mean, and that's with any line of work. I mean, if you're in charge of something, or you're in charge of people, if you're in charge of sensitive information at your work, integrity, just to let people know if they don't know that word, because some people might not, but integrity is what you do when people are not looking. And that is
what you say,
of course, and that is a big value in the workplace or in personal lives too. You know, how much integrity does that person have inside? So No, I completely agree. I think he's fucked. I don't think this is the last time that we're going to hear or see of him. He will be brought back in this trial, if not by the Commonwealth, definitely by the defense.
Absolutely.
You know, I know that the witness lists have been somewhat released.
Yeah.
Just because you're on the list doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be called.
True.
But it shuts down you from talking if you're a witness. So it's going to get very interesting, I think, for Aiden in this case too, because we do know he's on the witness list, and I'm sure he's savvy and already lining up what's going to happen for his channel.
His
and
lawyers are smart.
his blogs and his Twitter account, which is phenomenal. I mean, he gets the most forefront accurate information in this case out there, and we need his voice out here. He's the leader. He is the leader.
Yep. Nobody can argue that he is the spearheader of this movement. So
100%. Let's see. Bev's biased beratements. I love this. Look at this. Someone checking in from across the pond in England. $5 says, based on the timelines, Karen Reed has an alibi along with all of the other shenanigans. Reasonable doubt. Love the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There was an intense timeline that I retweeted, and maybe we can take a look at that today. Okay. It's pretty good, and it's probably one of the best timelines that I've seen in its simplest form. So what do you want to do? I'm going to let you kind of guide the show here. Do you want to go through the timeline, or do you want to play through the new Microdots video? It's up to you.
I really would love to react to the Microdots video, because yesterday I was like, I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't watched it yet, but I want to talk about it.
Yeah,
so let's watch it.
Yet. So let's do that. If we don't get to the timeline, maybe we can save it for another show.
Yeah.
And then we'll take some calls at the end of the show. We'll open up the phone lines. I want to hear from everybody today how they feel about now just Michael Proctor and the firing of now just Michael Proctor. Okay, let's pull up the Microdots video here. I'm very excited to check this out, because I haven't seen it. And I just let everybody know, I do already have pre-permit, or I have permission from Microdots to play this, his material on my channel. So I've already asked, and he said, just go ahead and do it. So here we go. Let's just do this real quick. Colleen, thanks for the 5. Says, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? I'll let you read it.
What are your thoughts on Karen's lawyers being added to witness list? Love the show.
It's interesting. I think Nan kind of touched on it the other night.
Yep.
It's very interesting, and I think probably this is an overpower move. If I was to look at this, like, they don't want anybody talking to the media. They're trying to. The Commonwealth is trying to shut everybody down right now, and I think this is a pussy power play move by Hank Brennan and the Commonwealth to kind of double up on, we don't want you talking. So let's just add them to the witness list. I don't know how that's going to work out, how it's going to shape out. I don't know the legalities of it. But we'll just have to see how this all plays out, I guess. I am definitely not a lawyer.
Me neither.
I'm definitely not a lawyer. What do I want to do here? We'll do it in this view. Oh, actually, we'll go down here. Here we go. And thank you for the super chat. Biggest obnoxious.
It's the evening of January 28th, 2022.
Yeah, but that's like a flash.
True.
There's a dangerous storm coming.
Keeps it cold for a long time.
It's still early.
The AI in
as
this
friends
is really
and family
awesome.
begin
The
gathering at
accuracy of
the
what
Albert
people look
home.
like.
The younger generation stay inside for the evening to consume alcohol together in celebration of a birthday, while the elders choose to venture out to a local bar named the Waterfall, where they meet acquaintances John O'Keefe and Karen Reed.
Pause, you can talk.
All are drinking. At about 12:15, they return from the bar. Jen calls John at 12:14. At 12:18,
It
John
looks so
calls
much
her
like
back.
her.
Then Higgins messages John at 12:20.
And just to let everybody know, you have not been to 34 Fairview today yet, but we're going to go do that today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Lauren over to 34 Fairview. She's never been there. Maybe we'll sneak uptown and drive by the waterfall in McCarthy's. You can see that as well. But I'm going to take her over for a tour at 34 today.
The Canton tour.
Yeah, the Canton tour. I really want her to see what it looks like there, because it is very different from seeing a flat dimensional photo.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that corner in the road, and then you just have to imagine the snow being there. It's just so impossible. It didn't happen.
From what I've heard is that, like, when you come around that corner, your headlights immediately shine on where he would have been, and that you just can't drive by without seeing it.
So we're going to go out there. Maybe we'll shoot a little video of Lauren's reaction out there, and we'll upload it later. But yeah, I'm going to take her over there today. So we'll check it out. But let's get back to Microdots here. And I'm curious. I haven't seen this, so I'm really kind of I don't want to say like excited to see it, but yeah, I'm excited to see it and see how it all shapes out.
Yeah.
Between 12:23 and 24, Karen and John arrive. Karen sits and waits for confirmation. She watches as John approaches, looks inside, and walks through the door. It's the last time she'll see him in good health.
And that's one thing I have to say, and I'm going to pause it here for a second. One thing I have to say is that every time Karen has spoke publicly, even back in the infancy of all the interviews that she's done, what has she always said? I watched John walk to the house, and that was the last time I saw him. It's her story's never changed. It's never changed, and it's almost verbatim the way that she outlines everything. It's the same consistent story all the time. And what happens, and then we proved it during trial 1.0, when you lie, like some certain people that were up on the stand, what did they always need to do? Can you?
I don't remember what I said.
I don't remember what I said.
Can I see it?
Can I see my transcript? Can you replay it again? When you lie, because you're covering with a lie and a lie and a lie, you can't sort that original lie.
You have to go back and look at what you said.
You have to go back and look at what you said. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
At the same time, Ryan Nagel, Ricky D'Antano, and Heather Maxson arrive in Ricky's 2018 Ford F-150 to pick up Julie Nagel at her request, causing the Lexus to move forward the first time. Bringing it straight in line with the front door.
Just right outside the front door. Within
Straight outside, yes.
The vehicles remain in these positions for a number of minutes while they both wait.
Here's the thing. I'm just going to point this out. Okay. This is a live show. We're going to stop. We're going to commentate. We're going to talk about things.
Yeah.
We're going to get the chat involved. This is what we do here.
Yeah.
So I would just say, if you want to watch this without our commentary, just go to the Microdots page and watch it now. Because this is something that I want to talk and discuss with that's why we do these shows. We have discussions and, you know, I'm sorry. That's just what we do here. The chat knows that maybe this isn't the live show for you, but this is what we do. So,
it's a live react.
Yeah, we discuss things when we go through them.
It's okay if that's not your style, but that's what we do here.
Yeah, we do that here. Sorry.
We don't know. Minutes ago.
Boda Bob. So my dad watched the documentary that just came out. My parents like know that I'm into this, but they haven't personally followed it or had any strong opinions. But my dad decided to watch the documentary and he got really into it. And we sat down in the kitchen recently and had like a great conversation. But he said this exact thing to me. He said, if you called me to come pick you up and I'm driving in a blizzard, at the beginning of a blizzard, and I get there and you say, never mind, I'm telling you to get your ass outside in his little Boston accent, and we're going home. I'm not leaving because I'm not coming back out later. And you just made me come out here. But so it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
100%. 100%. All right, here we go.
Sent a message to the victim asking, are you coming here? And the aggressive German Shepherd. It appears that whatever happened to John inside the home unfolded rapidly, ending within just a few minutes.
Yeah. It feels like real.
This is evident because it must have occurred before Julie Nagel stepped outside to send her brother away by declaring that she was now staying, suddenly changing her mind. The door leading to the basement is located in close proximity to the kitchen area. John's Apple Health data indicates that he ascended or descended 3 flights of stairs and took 80 steps between 12:22 and 12:24.
Stated ascending, descending 3 floors.
Suggesting that he entered the home, walked inside, and within less than a minute ended up in the basement, either by his own volition or by force. The most logical interpretation of the 3 flights is he went down, turned around to leave, and for an unknown reason was returned.
Pushed down the stairs, maybe.
Yeah.
Theories on how John sustained his injuries vary, but they largely focus on a violent assault carried out by up to 3 men inside the home, as well as an attack by their ill-tempered German Shepherd. An animal with a documented history of aggression, one that Brian Albert was caught attempting to conceal from the court by lying, saying that Chloe has never attacked a human being, when she has attacked 2, sending both to the hospital for treatment.
That's a big lie.
Of the many lies.
That's big.
That's a huge lie for a witness to tell.
Yeah.
Why do you want to conceal Chloe's bite history? Because you know that she bit John.
Yeah.
And you don't want them to know that.
Yeah.
Like,
and then after she bites John, it gets rehomed a couple of months later, like a dog that you've had for like, let me ask you a question. Would you ever like rehome one of your pets?
No, I have a
you've
dog
had for a long time.
No, I have a dog. She's 6 years old now. And so I've had her almost as long as they had Chloe. I've raised her from a puppy, from 12 weeks old. And if she, first of all, she's the sweetest little baby. But if she had an incident where she attacked somebody, I would immediately call a behavior specialist and be like, why is she doing this all of a sudden? What can I do? I would work with her. And then if need be, unfortunately, I would just make her a muzzle dog. You know, I would not, I would do everything I could to keep her. I would never give her up. That's crazy.
It's just crazy that I'm going to just rehome the dog now.
Yep.
They've been caught in. On the right side is an opening containing rows of dumbbells. And a systems room behind a set of double doors. A bathroom straight ahead. And stairs exiting directly to the backyard.
Ryan Nagel texted his sister at 12:23 here.
He did text me saying that he was outside.
Oh, this is weird.
And then he texted again that he was going to leave. Then Julie Nagel went outside.
If Ryan texted his sister again that he was going to leave, that means she kept him outside waiting. So what caused the delay? The timeline indicates that John entered the home, triggering a violent confrontation that unfolded quickly. The chaos inside delayed Julie for several minutes, long enough for Ryan to text her saying he was going to leave, prompting them to send her outside to get rid of her brother. Within the four walls of 34 Fairview Road, they had a full-blown crisis on their hands, one that needed to be contained fast.
You really feel like you're there.
It's nearly 12:30 a.m. They have a fatally injured cop laying on the floor, a house full of people, and two separate parties waiting outside, each expecting someone to step out or at least inform them that they can leave. They immediately took command, and no one was coming or going until this was worked out. And since they didn't have the idea to blame Karen until morning, when Jen noticed her taillight was cracked, the only claim they have is to say that despite being dropped off right out front, John never came into the house. Say it with me. The guy never came into the house.
Can you pause it for a second?
Yeah.
There was an earlier comment that I just want to address from Willow about saying in this case you would rehome the dog. I see where you're coming from because I do know cases where there's repeated attacks and they do rehome it. However, I also know that there are situations where the dog, if you muzzle the dog and stuff like that, that the state allows you to keep it and you just have to follow certain rules. And a lot of times if a dog has attacked I don't know the laws in Massachusetts, but I know there's certain things that if the dog attacks a certain amount of times, then they have to put the dog down. You can't just rehome it.
Yeah.
So you're not wrong in every situation. Some people would rehome the dog to maybe a behavior specialist. So my mom used to foster dogs and she got a dog with intense trauma and the dog bonded to my mom very quickly and became very protective of her. And one day, all my dad did was walk into the room my mother was in, and her desk was kind of in the corner. So the dog interpreted it as my mom being cornered, and he jumped and bit my dad in the face. He was okay.
Bit him in the face?
In the nose. So,
Wow.
so he had glasses on, and that saved his eyes.
Wow.
He was okay. He got some stitches, but this had been the second time the dog attacked somebody. So she sent the dog to a behavior specialist to try to train it out of the dog. Unfortunately, the dog was deemed
untrainable.
Correct.
Right.
It was just too aggressive and they put the dog down.
Wow.
So I see what you're saying, but I don't necessarily think that that would be the response in this situation, because I know that sometimes you can just make them a muzzle dog where they can't be out in public without a muzzle and you have to keep them indoors except for walks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, let's get back to Microdots.
At 12:27, after sending Julie outside, Jen starts using her phone to build that alibi.
That's what I'm saying.
But Karen is
Everything
still out there, and they don't know why.
As soon as you saw Miss
You're
Reed's
smug look in
SUV,
her face.
you texted John. Is that right?
Correct.
You noticed this SUV outside. You started paying somewhat close attention to it.
They are watching her every move, anxiously waiting. The Lexus is seen moving forward a second time, into the proximity of the flagpole. They have no clue if Karen's about to drive off, dial 911, or bang on their door demanding to speak to John. Julie is outside. She tells her brother that she will be staying longer, despite calling him to come pick her up for a ride home.
Oh,
Y'all were
it's in the
actually
video.
talking.
Sorry, everybody.
Oh,
sorry about that.
We did that last
Whoops.
time
Yeah, I
too.
did
Whole
do
thing
that.
probably, yeah.
Sorry.
She walks back into the house. At 12:29,
Sorry.
Jen McCabe makes the first of 7 calls to John's phone over the next 21 minutes.
I love the photo that's used.
I know. I
So
thought
the
that
photo
might
that's
be-
used is that it's the one when I think Aiden is outside the courthouse asking her questions.
Yes,
Like,
when
that is
she's
the
walking down the street.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember. That's the moment it is.
That's great.
Although she insists that each of these calls were made unknowingly and completely accidentally, not a single voicemail was recorded,
That's the part.
implying that she not
Hung
only
up with the
inadvertently
voicemail.
made the calls, but she also inadvertently hung up before a voicemail was triggered.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's
An absurd proposition that any rational person must reject on its face.
You claimed that every one of these
and then to make
calls was
another
butt
butt dial.
Is that
No.
right?
Yes.
Definitive evidence that they are hiding something. The chances of this set of anomalies occurring at the exact time required to support her alibi are impossibly low.
14 interfaces with that phone over the course of 19 minutes.
Those calls were later deleted, and she doesn't have an answer for that either. We are being asked to take Jen at her word when she has every motive to shift the blame away from herself and her family. Ryan Nagel watches Julie entering the side door as they pull away.
I mean, this is just so telling. It's in the PCA.
This whole moment
I was
is
making sure my
moment.
sister got in the house okay.
Providing him the perfect.
Oh my God. That's insane.
when I was texting you about this yesterday, this is what I mean by it's such a good visual representation. I would love them to be able to present something like this to a jury to visualize it and conceptualize it, because showing the testimony of Ryan that John was not in the car and he didn't see John on the front lawn. So if a third party witness didn't see John in the car, didn't see John on the lawn, and Karen reported he went in the house, like that is such a crucial piece of evidence that creates reasonable doubt. Because at that point he would have, if John had, let's say, at that point, John would have had to gone in the house. Where was he?
Wasn't fucking walking around the neighborhood.
Exactly. So this moment is crucial, in my opinion, to creating reasonable doubt.
Yeah, and you know what? He's gonna lie in 2.0. He's gonna go, "I didn't see anything."
Yeah,
I didn't see anything.
I might have seen a black blob in the front seat.
When clearly in the PCA, he outlines and says in the original PCA, so I drove by, Karen was in the vehicle, there was no one else. There was no one else inside the vehicle. Her hands were at, remember, 10 and 2 with the dome light on.
Yep.
And the fucking dome light was on.
You can't miss somebody if they're in there. Yeah. Yep.
You can't miss someone. Man.
That is a crucial moment.
Super crucial. All right, let's get back to Microdots.
Angled to witness Karen Reed sitting alone in her vehicle, waiting for John.
But you did look inside that SUV.
As I passed by, yes.
And you saw one person.
That's all I saw at the time, yes.
Female with long hair. Is that
Correct.
right?
Ryan and friends drive away.
You can see that.
Yeah.
Karen is now alone for the first time since she arrived.
Okay.
I'll leave it to you.
The three of them confirm that they didn't see John outside the entire time they were there, nor was he in Karen's SUV. Entirely consistent with Karen's story of what happened. Karen leaves between 12:29 and 12:30, We know this because her phone connects to the Wi-Fi network at John's home at 12:36.
What reason does Ryan Nagel have to lie in that situation? I mean, he's friends with the McAlberts, so that would be a reason to lie, but his original testimony does not line up with their story. Why? Like, his story lines up with Karen's. That's so important.
Miss Reed's phone auto-connected to John O'Keefe's Wi-Fi at his house at 12:36 a.m.
Google Maps confirms the drive time for that route. On that date and time is 6 to 7 minutes, without factoring in the snowy road conditions that night, which would have only slowed travel further. That means the latest Karen Reed could have left 34 Fairview Road, according to the data we have, is 12:30 a.m.
Around 12:45 in the morning, when the vehicle was in front of the residence on Fairview, that for some perceptible period of time, that vehicle travels over 60 feet in reverse at over approximately 24.2 miles per hour.
What kind of charade is this? The lead prosecutor is standing in front of an unknowing jury and claiming the defendant committed murder 15 minutes after she left the premises. Shameful. Using such flimsy and misleading information to pin a crime on an innocent woman isn't just gross negligence. It is a crime in itself.
At 12:31, you texted, "Pull behind me," to John.
With no one outside, they finally have their first chance to address their next immediate problem. At 12:31 and 56 seconds, someone carries John's phone 83.5 feet, out to the last spot they saw the SUV parked. Conveniently near trees and bushes, providing enough cover to stay out of sight. It is placed there at 12:32 and 16 seconds.
All right, let's get to this. I'll let you read this one.
Microdots did a great job of putting it all together. This explains all of Jen's random texts after JOK went in the house and why Commonwealth claimed Karen hit John at 12:45 only to shift it during the trial. Yep, exactly. That's why I was saying this video, if they could, obviously they'd have to kind of edit it to make it more neutral and stuff like that. But a reenactment like this, I think, would be essential for a jury to see what's going on.
I think you're going to see that.
I hope so. I hope they can do that.
Well, they tried getting Microdot stuff in before and they wouldn't allow it. But
maybe they could hire somebody that will get approved in order to reenact
I think
it.
what they're going to do is they're asking for They're asking for chalks. You know what a chalk is?
No.
Chalk is kind of an easel and you put boards up. And I bet you they're going to do storyboarding this time around.
Maybe.
Because that fucking jury, the jury needs visuals.
Yes.
Because I'm going to be honest with you.
It helps you conceptualize it.
And I'm going to tell you right now, being inside that courtroom, I sat in for one day during the trial. And the way that the television set was a piece of shit. Because, and I even felt bad. I'm going to tell you this too. I kind of felt bad for the O'Keefes too, because they had to keep like turning and looking this way, which it should be fair to everybody. Everybody should have a fair look at what's going on. And I want them to know, I want the O'Keefes to know that you're sitting on the wrong side of this. Like you need to see what's going on here. So looking at the television, so the way the family was positioned was that front camera position. So they're at the closest end of the courtroom. So when you come in the door in that small courtroom, they're immediately right to the left. We were on the right-hand side and the jury was off to the side here. Even though the jury's sitting like how our television set is in the wall, the glare that's coming in from the windows was almost impossible to see what was going on. It was hard. I mean, and they even kept turning the lights out and trying to brighten the TV. I mean, it was insane. You couldn't see anything. So I think, oh, my voice cracked. Oh, I think what they'll do is this time around, use those chalks, use storyboarding. It's going to be a little bit easier to follow. Remember Liza Little holding up the storyboard? And Bev's like, put that down. That's what they're going to do. They're going to do stuff like that. And it's old school. That is old school. That is old school lawyering. I mean, that's what it used to be back in the day. So all good stuff there. And thank you, Abacus Flinch, for the $20 in supporting this stream today. So
I'm gonna go to the bathroom now.
Absolutely. And you know, the other Jules is saying, and the TV was way too far away from the jury. And I agree. I totally agree. Yep. All right, we're gonna get back to this and potty break. We both had potty breaks, and we'll keep going.
Which means it took about 20 seconds for someone to move to that location and drop the phone. Although another theory suggests they turned the phone off and placed it outside at a later time. Without a proper investigation, we can only speculate. Regardless, for Karen to have hit John, she would have had to complete a 6 to 7 minute drive in just 3 minutes and 44 seconds on slippery, snow-covered roads with a route that includes a long traffic light. This means that according to the Commonwealth's own forensic data, Karen Reed could not have murdered John O'Keefe. Then who did?
Yeah.
At 12:40, you texted hello.
At 12:41, Jen makes call number 2 of this series. 54 seconds later, call number 3.
And at 12:42, you texted, where are you?
At 12:43, she makes call number 4.
And at 12:45, you texted hello.
At 12:46, call number 5.
I see what's going on. Calling, texting, Jennifer McCabe. Calling, texting. Okay. I see what's going on here.
You guys notice that I have a booster seat today?
At 12:47, call number 6.
Last time she came in,
I was like such
so
a...
I go,
I'm
well,
5'2".
I go, I have a pad. Do you want to sit on that? And she's like, yeah. So it actually kind of levels us out.
A little bit more.
She would be like way down, like here.
I'm so tiny. 5'2".
Yeah,
And finally, at 12:50, Jennifer places call number 7.
Sitting in seats and my feet don't touch the floor.
Calling, text.
One establishing an alibi and
A
also
highly
trying to find
suspicious
his phone.
pattern of calls. But what's even more interesting is that Jen originally told police that she saw Karen pulling away at 12:45,
Exactly, Kim.
specifically remembered because it coincided with her last.
Kim, go ahead. You can read it. Kim, chime it in.
Oh, she was looking for John's phone or setting up an alibi for herself. I think it was a little of both.
Yeah,
that's
a
what I
little
was
bit of both.
saying.
And again, if you want anything highlighted out,
Yeah.
if you want a question answered or comment, you throw a super chat out there. We'll pull it up for you all. All right, here we go.
Last text to John stating hello, which means Jennifer has been caught in another lie, and that she was attempting to place the SUV outside when it was already back at John's house for nearly 10 minutes.
You were also interviewed by Trooper Proctor on January 29th, 2022.
Jen has also adjusted her story since the beginning to accommodate the Commonwealth's evolving theory. The flagpole was always the last place the SUV had been seen, until Jen testifies here.
When I first saw the vehicle, it was straight ahead out the front door, stationary.
You said you saw it pull up again, second time. You said you saw it move twice.
One place with the flagpole.
See, she's trying to, okay, what's the lie? I got to get the story straight. You know, what's the lie? And that's the whole thing when she's recalling her transcripts and can you show it to me? Because she's got to look at it and think.
Remember.
And what did Peggy say? What did Peggy say to all of them? You should write it all down so you keep your story straight.
Yep. That says something.
God.
To further up.
Jennifer changes her story, now claiming she saw the SUV in position to reverse backwards towards John.
It moved to the flagpole, and then it moved up again.
And like they did over and over again in the first trial to explain why the new story doesn't match the first, they blame police incompetence. No one has done more to damage the reputation of cops everywhere than these people.
So as Trooper Proctor was taking notes about what you were saying, he just got it wrong. At no time did you hear any noise or sound outside that was unusual?
No.
You didn't hear any squealing tires or squealing brakes.
No.
You didn't hear any screaming or yelling.
No.
You didn't hear any loud voices or foul language or doors slam.
No.
Yeah, I love how you can tell who the AI
You
bodies
didn't hear
are.
any verbal argument. Anything like that?
No.
That's so good.
Love Microdots.
So good, dude. Good job.
It's unfortunate that they
I'm just picking up the area, cleaning.
work in court.
Yeah, they're cleaning up.
Matter of fact, you didn't hear any collision or crash, did you?
No. My sister was cleaning.
My mom went right to clean because she likes to clean.
You ever asked by anybody to make sure you mention a Jeep being parked behind Miss Reed's SUV in this trial?
Guess where he is?
Mm-hmm.
In Houston. I'm just gonna show the members on the
Yeah. Once again, great work by Microdots. Amazing. Love that. I really, really liked this. And I think it's focusing on this particular moment and the testimonies about the drop off really going to be essential in creating reasonable doubt. So between the drop off scenario in this video and the ARCA report for the injuries, and the car damage, I think that could, to a fair and reasonable jury, be enough to acquit and be like, there's way too much reasonable doubt in this scenario right here.
Yeah. I mean, I just think about the whole thing and the whole scenario. If it was a fight that just got out of hand, and John got knocked out, then why not just call 911? I mean,
because if
it could have been just
I agree,
as an accident and spare his life.
Because they were only thinking
about themselves,
of sparing themselves from charges. Because here's the thing, even if it was an accident, if he died from those injuries, they're on the hook for probably manslaughter or I don't know, some degree of murder, because you caused injuries that killed somebody, whether negligent homicide, maybe. I don't know.
Let's just go back to this. They framed Karen.
Yeah.
They could have framed and got themselves out of that.
They could have been like, oh,
situation.
self-defense, but the injuries would have shown that it wasn't self-defense. I mean, Paul O'Keefe himself said, my brother looks like he went six rounds with Tyson.
Yeah.
He looked like he had the ever-living hell beat out of him.
Yeah.
It just does not make sense. The injuries and the damage to the car, like it is such a mental gymnastics explanation that the Commonwealth has. Pirouetted.
That's ridiculous.
Stop it.
Wait till we go down there today. You're gonna be like, there's no
I'm
fucking
excited.
way.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way that this happened. Because when I show you the road, and then you're gonna see the incline on the road, and you gotta think snow, alcohol, and wait till I show you where they think that her car was parked and she backed up. You're gonna shit a brick. You're gonna be like, there's no way she could have done this, because she's so far down on that curve. And she had to have come up like this.
Yeah.
It's so not plausible.
The other thing my dad pointed out is, why would John be on the side of the lawn and where he was in the first place to have gotten hit? Why would he have been all the way over there, not even close to either of the doors to get into the house? The positioning of it doesn't make sense.
Wait till you see it today. You're going to see it and you're going to be like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Just no way at all. Let's see. We got Nan in the chat. She said, I saw the road. Hello, Nan. Good Sunday morning. Thanks for checking out me and Lauren today on this Sunday morning.
Yeah.
She said, I saw the road. No way. Not a chance. No. And by the way, I just want to let everybody know, if you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch the live that we had with Nan Gallagher.
Awesome.
We had Todd
live.
McGee on and Mike from the Young Jerks on this past Thursday night.
Yeah.
Woo.
That was a great show.
Over 3,000 people watching that show.
Great conversation, Nan. I can't wait to see more shows with you on the LTL.
Really
it was
good.
Great dynamic.
It was good.
It was a great panel. Loved it.
It was a good panel.
Mm-hmm.
Linda Boo, $5. You go ahead. You read it.
The video was haunting. It painted a very vivid picture of what most likely happened that night.
Yeah, I agree. And there is a new timeline. I actually tweeted it out. We're probably not going to get to it because we're going to take some calls here in a minute. Because we usually end the show with live calls, and I want to hear from all of you. So we'll open up the phone lines here in a second. But yeah, I mean, great stuff by Microdots. If you're not subbed up over there, please make sure you're subbed. Takes his time in doing videos that are articulate, easy to follow, and just really overall is just really good stuff. So I definitely would go over there and follow the Microdots. Want to take some calls?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's take some calls if I can get this to work.
Have some chit chats this Sunday morning.
Let's hear some chitty chats from the chat. Let me turn on the phone line and we'll take calls. And I want to hear from all of you. If you want to comment on the upcoming trial, if you want to comment specifically on Michael now, ex-State Trooper Michael Proctor, or if you want to talk about the Microdots video, please do. Let's put up the phone line here on the screen. We just got to get just one person to be
I'm sure we'll get
the test. We'll get one, and then I just want to make sure I'm connected here.
If you have any questions or comments you want us to read out loud, send over a little super chat.
Yep, we can do that. Let me just make sure I'm connected before we do this. Let's connect the phone line. Hopefully. Oh, it's connected. Good. All right. And the phone number to call is, you can call that show, 339-364-8881. And all I ask is when you call, and if you hear someone on the phone line, you can't keep calling in because you're going to just hear that audible beep.
We don't want that.
You don't want the beep. So just wait until the caller finishes. And if you want to call in, you can. But phone lines open. 339-364-8881. We'll get to the super chat really quick. Amelia Walsh, thank you so much for the £5. England checking in. And we have, did you see Andrea's last video? The lady's timeline of Jem's phone and Watch suggests that Matt had Jen's phone. I know who you're talking about. I'll just say this. That person's a Chris Watts sympathizer. I can't get with that person.
We're not going to talk about that person.
But thank you by the super chat. I appreciate it. And I think they're talking about Andrea's last video. Maybe I'm getting the wrong person, but I know there's someone out there that is a Chris Watts sympathizer, and I just can't get with that. And I know the history of that channel. They did a lot of fucking off in the Idaho 4 case as well, too. So I apologize. It's not Andrea, but I know. But I haven't seen the video. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. But call back, caller. We had one call in.
Yeah, sorry. Give us a call back again.
Yeah, you can call us. So call us to the show live. We're waiting for all of you. This is Sunday morning. It's live calls. 339-364-8881. Give us a call. We'll answer your questions the best that we can, because I'm not a lawyer. But there is a lawyer in the chat room, and she's a fantastic lawyer.
She's a wonderful lawyer. Nan, I saw you post. You just got an award for like top 5%
I know,
or something.
that's so awesome.
Congratulations.
All right, here we go. Let's see if we get it. Good morning. This is LTL.
Hello?
Who do we got?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hey.
My name is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Nice to talk to you both. Your show is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to the lovely lady, I don't know your name because you're new to me.
Lauren.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Kathy.
I wanted to say, first of all, that I think it's just wonderful how much you know about dogs and rescuing them, because I do that. And I've had trained German Shepherds for 20 years. Well, a little over 20 years.
Wow.
So
yeah.
the dog bite thing, the arms are dog bites.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
100%.
I used to do shits and 3 training, or dogs up to 1, 2, and 3 shits and training, and I've been bit.
Yeah.
You know, because accidents happen, and I wanted to agree about that. I do want to say too that my gosh, this week was the bomb on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just wasn't that just awesome?
Yeah.
It was.
Oh my gosh. It's like it's time, you know, it's like the defense is like, enough of this crap. We have had it. We're tired of you treating us this way and saying what you're saying. They haven't brought out the gloves yet, you know, and they're just getting a little bit of taste of them.
Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this time around, they're going to be much more prepared. I think that these hearings have been great in the fact of getting a sense of who Hank Brennan is going to be during this trial. He's going to be a thorn that's going to be completely trying to stick in everybody's size. But you're matching up with 3 brilliant attorneys that have already been through this. And you know what? I'll even say this too. Let's add Karen, not an official attorney, but she knows this case back and forth. And I don't think you're going to get anything by them this time around.
She's so smart and intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I think once she is, you know, pray to God, not guilty, and not just where we have to do another trial, because, you know, this trial is really starting to show the nice words, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
All the crap. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say anything you want.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to be nice. It's Sunday. And respect. Monday through Saturday, it's a whole different ball game for me. But
it's Lord's Day, yes.
Sunday is rest day. So it's today to rest.
Yeah.
But you know, anyway, you know, it's starting to bring out all the crap that is up there. And Brennan the reason they brought him in, because you know what? Someone said on a text on some other show I was watching, because I watch any of them that have to do with Karen.
Yep.
And, you know, they want to get information. And one of them said that, you know, oh, he's not going to get any clients after this. And I text him and said, oh, yeah, you'll get all the dirty, bad, low, you know, the crap people, you know?
Yeah.
And then earlier this morning, I was listening to DUI guy. He's so funny.
Yeah, he's great.
He was talking about, I'm not going to go into it because it has nothing to do with this case, but about Diddy, about a whole bunch of stuff coming about there, and all that
I saw that video.
Stuff going on in a whole different state. And I'm going, you know, it isn't in just one place.
Yeah.
You know, it isn't just there, but it's starting to, you know, the light is starting to show what the darkness, how much darkness has really been.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. Well, I'm gonna hang up because I do want to take a couple more calls today. But I appreciate you calling in on this Sunday and watching the show.
Thank you, Kathy. Have
You're
a good day.
Yes. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. Phone line is open. And if you want to call on the show, we'll take a couple of more calls here before we head out and end the show today. It's 339-364-8881. Here's our next caller. You're on Let's Talk Live. Who do we got? Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from California.
Oh,
hello.
I love California.
Yes, I just had a couple of questions for you if you had the same thoughts. One thing was, did the judge on the TB trial, did he say that it had been on his calendar for a week and a half, yet Karen's defense walked in saying they didn't know anything about it? Did you find that strange? And also, did you find that strange? I forgot.
Yeah, I wouldn't put anything past what the Norfolk County's trying to do and hide right now. That would be my answer to that. I mean, obviously we've seen what has happened in Karen's case here, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It really wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, me too.
Which is bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, and also I had the feeling too that the judge, Miss Bev, she also, I felt like she also knew that Proctor was going to get fired. So that's why she admonished the defense ahead of time. Those were just my two thoughts. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys do a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. What do you think about that? Do you think that Bev maybe had a heads up? Probably. I mean, they talk.
It's possible.
It's possible. Maybe Nan can probably answer that. I'm sure information flies around like that on courtrooms, or they get preemptive before they go into a case. Absolutely. She probably knew.
Yep.
She probably knew.
Nan, I agree. It's much easier to follow the chat when I'm not on the show. I'm usually very active in the chats, but I just can't do it right now. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with all of that.
Yeah,
I do.
I agree. Phone lines open. Yeah, see, Nan just said they talk.
Everybody, you're not going to tell me that people don't talk behind closed doors.
Yeah, maybe we can get Nan on the next Sunday show if she's available.
I would love to hop on a panel with you and Nan.
That'd be
absolutely.
Great. All right, here we go. Good morning. Let's Talk Live. You're live. Who do we got?
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
This is Kim.
Hello, Kim. How are you?
Chat. I'm good. How are you doing?
We're well. We're well. What's on your mind today?
Well, I have been going over why they wanted John to come to the house.
Okay. What's your thought and theory?
And well, Jen was trying to get Karen to go with her, told her it was a surprise. She was going back and forth from Brian Higgins and Chris Albert to John at the waterfall. I think there was a ruse to get him to come to the house. And what got me to thinking this is I was a breeder of German Shepherd Labradoodle puppies. And the mother, when she had her puppy, she was very protective.
Yeah.
Okay.
even though she was really, she loved us, but she would not allow the kids to come around the puppies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very protective. Well, one day there was a dog that was in our backyard, and she was in our bathroom with the puppies, and the window is open with the screen. She went out the window, busted through the screen to get to that dog.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is I believe that Jen probably said something to John about, hey, would you like a puppy for the kids?
Could be a
And
possibility.
he's thinking, hey, that's a great idea. Free dog.
Yeah. Could be a possibility. Not a bad theory.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that I agree with the whole ruse to get him out there. I've had the same thought before, and yeah, I think.
I mean, it's a possibility. Anything at this point, and the thing is we're never going to really know because we weren't there, and that's the issue in all of this. But listen, I know a lot of people have millions of theories that went on. It could be a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a theory. I mean,
Sure.
I'm not saying it's set in stone.
Yeah.
It's a theory.
It's a theory. I mean, it's a
good
theory.
one.
It's a good one. I mean, we don't know. And that's the thing that's tragic about this whole thing is we don't know. One thing we do know is that Karen dropped John off at 34 Fairview.
He went in the house. We know that.
Inside the house. We know that for a fact.
He went up and down 3 flights of stairs.
And then what happened inside there, we ultimately don't know. I have my theory. I know Lauren has her theory.
Very similar theories.
Yeah, I know the chat has their theory. It's just tragedy. It's just tragic all around.
Yep.
It is. It really is. But thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have
Absolutely.
a great day.
Thank you so much. You're on Let's Talk Live. Who would have got?
Yeah, I'm calling in for the live show.
You're live.
Okay, what do you call it? I was wondering why Karen's lawyers aren't looking into what John was investigating, because he's a sex crime investigator, right?
Yep.
Maybe he was investigating the Birchmore case, and seeing that Alan, or the guy that owned the house, anyways,
Brian Albert,
Boston CD too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe he fired Higgins up, saying that John was talking shit about him, whatever, to start the fight, to off John so that they could cover up the Birchmore case.
I think
he was getting in too deep.
Yeah. I think I've heard other people say the same thing. I'm just going to kind of echo Nan in the chat that I do believe they have looked into that. I know some people were saying that they thought maybe he uncovered some drug activity that the people in the house had a reason to want to cover up. Allegedly, that was a theory, but I do believe they looked into it, and John was not investigating Sarah. Sarah. Oh my goodness. Sandra. I'm so sorry. I don't believe he was investigating those cases. But it is, I mean, it's a thought process that I've heard before.
Yeah. The theory's been thrown out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're on the right track. I think they have looked into that because it could be possible.
I've been thinking that maybe it was some of the cases that he was working that Albert was trying to dissuade him from, bringing charges, whatever. And Kate, being a straight-laced guy, like, no, I'm not going to do the corruption thing. And then they just took him out to silence him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a theory that's been put out there.
Yep.
But thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Enjoy your show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take one more before we wrap up.
I think that's a good idea.
Let's take one more call. Phone line's open. You can call in. And here's our call. You are on Let's Talk Live. Just going to turn your TV down, please. Hello, you're live on the air.
Hey, this is Kevin from Southie. How you doing?
Oh, what's up, Kevin from Southie?
Yeah, I butt dialed you. I didn't know I was calling in. I butt dialed you. That's the one thing I want to say about this thing is the butt dials in this trial. How many butt dials can you have in one night between 3 people?
It's insane.
Mathematically impossible.
Is that not crazy?
It's literally not possible. Like you could probably run every algorithm and the algorithm wouldn't even be able to do it.
It would be like a 1 in a trillion chance. No.
Like hitting Powerball and Mega Millions on the same night. You know, let's be honest.
That's never happened.
And you know what? And but I also think I'll just say the one thing about the first trial: 1 hour for a summation on a how many week trial?
10.
10 weeks.
I think.
Yeah,
how many? 10. 1 hour for a summation on that trial is ludicrous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, I've never seen that because I'll just go back to who was the South Carolina attorney that killed his wife and kid? Murdaugh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they gave the defense the morning, and then they gave the prosecution the afternoon. I mean, that's appropriate for that long of a trial.
It's all done by design. It's all done by design. It's all to control.
Yeah. Okay. So that's, I guess, the fair and impartial anti-Bev.
Of course.
All right, man. Hey, we'll talk to you guys later. Sorry I butt dialed you. Take care.
Thank you. And what I want to say about all of that too is, and I'll add this, from what I heard and the information, the rumor that's been put out there is that, hang on a second. Sorry. The rumor that I heard out there was that they prepared for about an hour and a half, and then they got the heads up that it was going to be cut down to an hour, and they had to cut almost a half an hour out of their of their speech the night before. That's the rumor that I heard out there. I don't know if anybody else heard that.
There's so much that the defense needs to cover and keep a jury thinking straight and on the right path, that an hour is just not sufficient.
Yeah.
It's not sufficient.
There's no way.
No.
There's no way.
Hi, Clarissa. I haven't seen you in a while in the
Yeah.
chat.
It's
Welcome
good to
in.
see you. Welcome in. Yeah. Good to see you over here. Yeah. Yep. That's Nan said, yep. That's what was put out there.
Yeah.
So I heard about a half an hour, and they had to crunch it. And then we saw in the new documentaries, they got it down to like 59 minutes and 30 seconds or something.
Yep.
So it's pretty crazy. I don't know, Lauren. We are what? Let's see, how many days away? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 days away from this trial happening. Do you think it's going to happen on April 1st? Yeah.
I do. I think they want to get the jury selection going, and I don't think it'll be delayed anymore, but I could be wrong.
Because we're still waiting for the appeal on the SJC, and that's huge.
True.
That is huge.
True.
But she said, what we're going to do is we're going to start paneling the jury. We won't start the trial.
Jury selection could take a while.
Yeah.
It could take a while.
I think it needs to.
Yeah, they really need to vet these people.
100%. 100%. All right. Well, I think that's going to end our live show for today.
Yeah.
Very great show.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I always have fun when
I love your
when
opinion.
Come on.
And I always love having conversations with you. We're going to go eat lunch, and then we're going to drive down to 34 Fairview. Maybe we'll shoot a little video down there. I want to get kind of Lauren's reaction if she allows me to do it. But look, we'll be back next Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out on the Sunday Super Show. We take live calls now, and this is going to be the duo on Sunday. And then we're going to try to start doing like a rotating virtual guest with us. I know Tommy, and I'd love to have Tommy and Mike. I love Tommy and Mike.
They're great.
We'll get Tommy and Mike back here too. Maybe we can get Nan up here next Sunday if she's available. If not, we'll get someone.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it for today. Any parting words for the audience?
No, I always have a good time when we're on the show. Love chatting with you guys. I love taking calls and talking to everyone. And thanks for joining us today. And Nan, hope to see you on the show again soon. Would love to join.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you
I
for
want to
hanging
thank
out
Kevin
with us.
from Boston. Southie calling.
Kevin from
Southie calling.
The butt dialed us.
The butt dialist. He butt dialed us. All right, everybody, we're going to head out and grab some lunch. I love all of you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the super chats and the support today. If you're first time over here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next Sunday.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.